How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Richie Dari?
Wanted to ask you about Rambo and his first game back, what you saw out of him. It seemed like he gave you guys what you needed.
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job. But for the game, he had one missed tackle, which is outstanding, and he had 12 tackles in the game. We went in the game starting Jose, and then when Jose got nicked, he came in, and you can see he's got his confidence back. After that game and the way he practiced yesterday, so I was proud of the way he played.
As we asked you a couple weeks ago about D'Angelo's performance on Dez, you said you wanted to see it every week. It seems like he's strung together 3 really strong games in a row at this point.
Yeah, I think he's played well all season, but I think it's kind of caught on to everybody seeing that he's playing really well, and he's shutting for the most part. We put him on Thomas last week, and Thomas is really the long catch he had. He had 45 yards receiving, was on a screen. It was just not a good call, but it wasn't really on D'Angelo. D'Angelo did a good job on him.
This week, will he be used on Gates at all, and how does he do matching up? I know he's a little bit bigger, but what do you see from this week, D'Angelo?
Well, we usually don't match a corner on a tight end, but he has the ability. He can do almost anything, and we put him on obviously big receivers. We put him on quick, faster receivers. So he's got the ability to do anything if his mind's into it.
As in your time here with him, where has he improved, and what are you seeing this year that maybe he's taking? I don't know if that's so-called step up or whatever.
I think he's played. A couple of years ago when he made the Pro Bowl, I think he had a heck of a year, and I think he's doing the same thing he did that year. Playing, we did the same kind of things with him then. But I also think that it helps because Josh is really playing well, and David Amerson's coming into his own, and he's playing well. So I think it helps when you have 3 corners that are playing at a high level.
You're certainly seeing your share of no-huddle offense this year. Is anything different about San Diego's than what you've seen previously, or did the previous games help you prepare for this?
No, the run with the no-huddle, I didn't get the no-huddle part of it. I didn't understand what you were asking about.
I'm sorry. You've seen your share of no-huddle offenses this year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
San Diego's any different from what you've seen before, and what you've seen help you prepare?
San Diego does it when they want to. They don't do it all the time. Denver, that's kind of their deal. They just do it all the time. But it's not I didn't think we had an issue with the no-huddle last week. We shoveled guys in and out. We had guys going in, and we'll be ready to substitute if necessary.
What did you see out of Merriweather in his first day back with you guys in a week, and also what did you make of his comments on Monday?
Well, I already really addressed his comments, and I truly believe Brandon's a good guy. He's a good person, and I don't think he'll do anything that's going to harm the football team. He said something out of emotion, the way he felt, and I just knowing Brandon, the way he practiced yesterday, he'll stay within the roles and try to do his best. He's not going to hurt our football team.
Last season, rough start, turned it around, strong finish this season, a little bit shorter turnaround ago. Is there anything to that, the rhythm of the season and the guys getting into the flow?
Well, I feel good, the way we've played the last, 4 weeks on defense. We haven't put the perfect game together. We played pretty good. We had the 4 turnovers last week, which I thought was big against that team. We did a nice job in the first half. We got to do a better job in the second half. Even in the situations that we're putting in, defense has to step up and stop people. So I think our guys feel good about where they're at right now, and I'm looking forward to this upcoming game because I think this is going to be a heck of a football. We're playing a good football team, and our guys are excited about the opportunity.
You get another big test in quarterback in Phillip Rivers. What does he do that's maybe a little bit more unique to compare to some of the other guys you've seen this year?
I think he's an outstanding quarterback. He's almost 75% completion, 74%. He gets the ball out of his hands fast, doesn't get hit much, has a very good knowledge of obviously the offense and what's going on, and he's doing a heck of a job. And they got a great running game and really good receivers, great tight end. So I think it's a great compliment They're number 4 in the league. We just played the number 1 team. He's number 2 in a lot of categories as a quarterback. So this is a great challenge for us.
So you're saying it's easier this week then, huh?
No, I'm not saying it's either. No, I'm saying the guy's a heck of a football player. He's only been sacked, I think, 11 times all year. He gets the ball out of his hands. He can read. Obviously, he's a big guy. And, it's a good challenge.
Does that unorthodox delivery cause any sort of issue? When you're rushing them, does that throw anybody's game off? And what does that do?
I don't think anybody really cares how a quarterback throws as long as it gets there and it gets out of his hand fast. And he has all that.
Because of that.
Not necessarily.
Mike said earlier in the week, might have been yesterday, that when people were writing Phillip Rivers off a couple of years ago, he thought that was kind of ludicrous. Do you feel the same way? Just when a couple of years ago, when it seemed like everybody was just, this guy isn't really that good. You have always seen the same kind of consistent player he was.
Yeah, I would totally disagree with that. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. I think he's doing a great job with the offense. Big, he's, like I said, he's a big guy that moves well, gets the ball out of his hand extremely fast. It's unbelievable how fast he gets it out, and he's got a high percent of completion. He's an accurate quarterback. He can throw it into tight windows.
What kind of season do you think London is having, and do you still see him as an impact guy for you at this stage in his career?
I think London's our leader of our football team, and he's kind of like Ray Lewis. When he was in Baltimore, that he runs everything, and London runs our football team. I mean, not just the defense. London runs our whole football team, and he has great leadership skills. He has a great sense of, innate ability to find a football. He still does great in the pass coverage. I think London is one of the best of all times.
What does he do to compensate for maybe if he's a lack of lost a step or anything or physical things? How does he
Everybody loses something when they get older. I mean, that's just that's the way life is. But like I said, he's the best professional I've ever been around. He studies the game harder than anybody. He knows where the ball's going before the ball snapped. He'll call out the plays out in the field. So from that standpoint, you don't find guys like that. They don't make guys like this. Very rarely do they come along in the coach's life. Do you have a guy you can walk up to and say something to him? He takes it out to the field and implements it. It doesn't happen. You got to walk through it with most guys and show it to him, show him on film. London can take something I can tell him and walk out in the field and he'll get it done. I mean, you just don't find guys like that.
So that mental aspect is an extra weapon for him then?
He's the best I've ever been around from that standpoint.
Jim, Jarvis played the most he's played all season.
Yeah.
What did you think of his game?
I think Jarvis had an outstanding game last week. I thought our line played excellent. We were just trying to get Jarvis, going and get him in. I think he was a little bit over 30 plays, kind of where we want to get all those guys, 30, 35 plays a game. I thought Jarvis played his best game he's played this year, and I expect him to get better and better.
I know that sacks aren't the only way to evaluate a guy like Brian, but he's only got 3 this year and 1 in the non-Raiders games. Is that in any way disappointing to you?
No, because, last week he got chipped 22 times, or the tight end was there 22 times. So that'll tell you something about who everybody thinks, this guy has the ability to get a lot of sacks, so they were trying to take Brian out of the game. So he got chipped a lot, he got hit a lot. I mean, that kind of happens. And plus, you don't get a lot of sacks on Peyton, and, anyways, the guy gets the ball. He's only been sacked, 9 times all year. So the guy gets the ball out of his hand fast and everything, but it just shows you when they stick a tight end over there and to chip him before he comes out, just what kind of guy he is.
Not necessarily specific to just that game. Is it fair then every week to say that he's the guy?
I think that's all the time with him. Everybody's targeting somebody, and they target Rack.
Jim, Gallaudet University here in D.C. has a hard-of-hearing defensive end who could become their first NFL player. The scouts are taking a look at him. You've worked with Reed over the years, and your first year you talked about how you had to sort of adjust to the fact. Do you see any difficulty in a player, with the hearing aids and so forth, being successful in the NFL based on your experience with Reed?
Oh yeah, it's a grind because one, it's hard to communicate. Obviously, it's hard to communicate on the field with him, and we got to do hand signals. He's got to make sure we have the hand signals because he doesn't hear sometimes on the field because of the crowd noise. So we got to make sure the hand signals so he sees what coverage we're in, or if we change the coverage, whatever. So there's a lot of things as a coach, and I've never had that experience till I came here with Reed. But just watching Reed and the way he is, and the true professional that he is, and he does everything to it. He's like a coach on the field. Whatever you see, he takes to the field. So I think there's more of a sense of, he focuses in on what he has to do, because he knows that he could lose something from that standpoint. He can't hear everything that everybody's saying all the time.
Reed was saying he has to know the game plan better than anyone, because he starts with that.
He's a coach. He takes everything you say, he takes to the field. And if something changes, you got to wait till you get to the sideline to talk to him, because you can tell he's in a massive panic out there. So it's a heck of a challenge for coaches. Like, I'm in a meeting and I'll talk to him, and I know he didn't hear me, so I have to wait till I get him and go one-on-one with him sometimes. So, but he's outstanding doing it.
Going back to London for a second, every time he seems to not make a play, have not the greatest game everybody thinks, everybody points to his age. As a coach, do you have to fight that urge to say, I wonder if that, everybody gets hit by Father Time at some point. Do you have to fight that urge to say it's not his age, it's just a misplay or whatever?
Well, I had a couple other guys who are 22 years old and had some bad games too, so yeah, that happens. Yeah.
How much longer do you think a guy like that
I
can
don't
keep
know.
going?
I can't get into it. I was 31 when I knew I was done. So, guys know when they're done. They don't want to admit it. They know when they're done. I knew I was done at 31. Somehow I tricked them for another year, but they know. Everybody knows. Anything else, guys? Okay. All right, guys. Thanks.